Now we're going to explore just a thought exercise with what Brown Beauty 39 is saying here. And I appreciate you guys for listening and sharing these videos. Now what she says is that maybe since Venus, the war on heaven started, this was in relation to my war on heaven video, that the war in heaven started probably on Venus, especially since Venus was the first deity. Well, most likely Venus wasn't the first deity. The first deity more than likely was the sun. Well, it's over there right now. Many people worship the sun initially because they saw the sun as bringing light, bringing life. And so the sun was more than likely the first deity, and Venus was more than likely the sun's wife, since Venus in the early morning comes up into the sky, is in the sky before the sun rises, or depending upon the time of year, wherever Venus is rises later in the morning, the sun will rise in that exact same spot. This is why Venus is Lucifer. It's the one that brings the illumination, that brings life, that is the light bringer, the light bearer. So in your Bibles, when you see Lucifer, what it's really talking about is the planet Venus. It's not talking about anything else. But as far as the war, it is possible, and this is a scientific possibility. We don't have a lot of proof on it. We speculate. But if you think about how the sun and how our galaxy is, could there have been life in our solar system prior to life on Earth? It is quite possible that that is a true thing. We just don't have the evidence to be able to back that up, because what we're talking about is changes over the planet Venus and the planet Earth that occurred for over billions of years. And what do I mean by that? Right now, Earth has life on it because Earth exists in the habitable zone in its relationship to our sun. Since our sun has been growing, then there possibly could have been a time 6, 7, 8, 15, 20 billion years ago when Venus was in the habitable zone for the sun comparative to its distance and size of the sun at that time frame. And if Venus was in the habitable zone for billions of years, then it's quite possible that Venus could have at one point had life on it. Now, we've sent satellites. We've sent different things to Venus to evaluate what it is, but we're looking at Venus in the here and now, filled with gases and acid rains and all these different things that could have happened and should have happened over billions of years. So we wouldn't be able to see or get any evidence right now as far as what was happening on Venus 20, 30 billion years ago. And with all the rock bombardments that Venus experienced and all the rock bombardments that Earth experienced, we wouldn't know, because Earth itself has been through multiple extinction level events. And so if there were civilizations on Earth prior to our modern history, it would have been destroyed to the point where we wouldn't be able to find it, or it's so deep that we haven't dug deep enough to find it yet. So there is the possibility of that, just thinking logically through the process of how the sun grows and the habitable zone continues to go further and further out. At some point, the sun will grow large enough that the Earth will not be in the habitable zone anymore. Hell, the moon is moving away from the Earth. At some point, the Earth's atmosphere is going to have drastic changes compared to what we have now, because the gravitational pull of the moon will decrease, which will cause a lot of our water streams to change. The Gulf Stream would change. The North Atlantic Current would change. The fact that we may not have tides anymore, or they will be so decreased that the way life is on Earth won't be the way life is on Earth right now. And at some point, the sun will grow so large that the Earth will no longer be able to hold life. Venus will lose its atmosphere and become more like Mercury. And then Mars will become a habitable planet. But we're talking about something that takes billions of years to happen. Is it possible that there was life on Venus for billions of years, and that life on Venus, once the planet started to become less and less habitable, but Earth became more habitable, that they moved to Earth? Because if I was alive 3, 4, 5 billion years from now, then it may be a situation where we're leaving Earth to colonize Mars, because now Mars is a habitable planet and Earth has become an inhospitable planet to our type of life. Even though we may have adapted to certain levels of it, it will still be too far gone for the life that we have right now to exist on this planet. So her final question, I think I've somewhat answered it, but I'm going to say that life has existed on Earth in different forms for billions of years. We just don't have the evidence of it because of all the destructions that the Earth has had, and that life will continue to exist on Earth for billions of years as we adapt to the different climate changes based on just the sun and the moon itself will change the way that we are. We may not even look like this in a billion years because we would have adapted to a larger sun and a further away moon. So I like the thought exercise, and I appreciate you for the thought exercise. And y'all always remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.